Hi. It's the Art Life video blog. It's day 142. This is Jacob. I'm JoAnn. Hi.
Hello, everybody. What's your last name?
JoAnn Nelson.
JoAnn Nelson. I'm Jacob Wolf. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you for having me here. And do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. What kind of things do you want to know, Jacob?
Where are you from?
I'm from back east.
You're from back east?
Yes.
What brought you to Portland?
A long, winding trip of various lifestyle changes, I should say. Well, I moved from there to here. Ultimately, it took me like how many times? Like 5 different cities. We went to Sonoma County, and then we went to Seattle, then we went to Spokane, then I went to Portland, and then I went here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When did you start creating art?
I've always done stuff, but I never thought it was art. I just thought I was just kind of doing crafty things.
Yeah? What kind of stuff?
Oh, I did jewelry. It was actually, some of it was my ex-father-in-law sold it to, or presented it, and they took it for Neiman Marcus in New York.
Wow.
And but I also made fiber art. I did a lot of fiber art.
What does that mean?
Oh,
like,
with needles and with threads. And
so is this cross stitch yours?
Mm-hmm, it is.
I used to cross stitch with my mom and grandmother.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, so I did a lot of that. I think I created life from nothing sometimes, you know. I mean, I often was I went from being in a realm of like middle class to experiencing very like extreme wealth with like maids and butlers and drivers and things in Argentina. And you know, for a year I lived there, and I met a family, and I lived with a family and knew a lot of people. And then when I came home, became kind of I don't know. I took it to the extreme, kind of, you know, and kind of did art with my life, kind of with like dancing and body, and I did some when I was younger. I did some modeling in New York, and it wasn't, you know, anything permanent, but interesting things, you know, like taking something from nothing. There was a woman, there was an elderly lady that had this box. She had my friend who had, when I had lived in Jamaica, and I came back, and he was living with his lover in New York in this old mansion, and there was a lady that he was caring for, just kind of, he wasn't any kind of a caretaker, just kind of caretaking the home. And she had a lot of boxes in the basement, and she said, take them and do something with them. Well, we went through them, and she had these gowns, you know, these gowns with the bones in the bodice, and she had unusual brocades and things from bygone eras, and some of them fit me. I was very small at the time, and so we would go to like places like, it was at the time of disco and Studio 54, and he would make me into a piece of art, like put huge hair. I'm already 6'1", and then they would put like butterflies on my eyes, and then long gloves, and this black dress that was mid-calf, and then high, like 15-inch heels, and we would go into Studio 54, and it was just kind of a time of experimentation, you know, all the different, like, what was his name? The white-haired man that did the cans of soup cans.
Man.
Yeah. What? Warhol. It was kind of the Andy Warhol time, and so everybody was kind of experimenting with not only, you know, their minds, but also their capabilities. And then from there, I became a red cap for the railroad.
What is a red cap?
You carry bags.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I loved it because I could actually see and talk with people and find out where they were from and learn their lives. It was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating.
How long did you do that?
9 years for in Grand Central Station, and boy, that was a fascinating. You know, the trains coming in. You think of a train from a distance, but when you're in the train, kind of the bowels of the train station, and they're coming in, and it's morning, and there's mist, and it's magnificent. Anyway, so that was kind of stories. I think I've always gathered stories, kind of written, and I'm a writer, and
really. What do you do with your writings?
Well, I've tried to put them into different publications, but I haven't found one that's perfect for me. You know, I'm still kind of in the realm of the previous era, pre-computer, so I don't really know what's out there. I didn't even know what a blog was till you, you know, till you came. So then from there we went to body work, because I discovered that I had pain in my back, and started to do chiropractic, a non-medical realm of chiropractic, non-healing, not claiming to heal or cure disease. And we taught people in Philadelphia and Ballackinwood, some were homeopaths, and we traded, bartered. And then we went to California, to Santa Rosa, California. We had a business, practice in a school. And I met so many wonderful healing people with their stories. And then we went to Spokane, and I worked as a nurse for 10 years. And then we moved to, met my new husband, and we moved here to Spokane, to Portland. And then I started making jewelry, and it's at the coast in a number of galleries. But there are many, many jewelry artists, and I don't have the capacity to make, you know, anvil kind of creations with gold, and the gemstones are the thing that I really enjoyed working with.
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of throwing things together and seeing the colors and see how they complement one another. So when I started pushing myself to do the jewelry, and what I did was I blew out 3 parts of my right hand.
Doing the jewelry?
Doing the jewelry. I did the trigger finger from my ring finger, and I had a bone taken out, a triquetrum bone from my thumb, which is located right here. And then I had another problem here with the nerves that they severed, and they severed a tendon here. And what happened was, for whatever reason, what manifested from that was a medical condition called CRPS, which is chronic regional pain syndrome. They don't know much about it, but what they do know is that it is one of the limbs, or all of the limbs, or 2 of the limbs, but it only happens with the limbs. And it's after some sort of originally they thought it was only going to be crush injuries, but now they understand it to be anything really, surgeries, any kind of traumatic event. And what happens is the neurovascular system goes awry, and everything is believed to be an emergency. So blowing on your arm, if your arm has the condition, it's like burning. Touching it with an eggshell is like laceration, deep laceration. Moving it is like breaking it. So everything is this emergent kind of pain syndrome, and it reduced me to an infant state where I was unable to function. There was no medication that really could help, and I was virtually like a baby, and I couldn't. My husband needed to bathe me and dress me, and the other things I could take care of.
How long did you deal with this?
How long? I mean, I don't know. 3 months?
You're still dealing with it.
Yeah, I still have it, but what is it? It's been about a year.
Probably something like that.
Probably a year.
Yeah.
But I am so full of life. I mean, I want to do so much. I want to make some sort of a ripple in the world, and even if it's just some of my pieces ending up in Goodwill, at least somebody will appreciate them. You know, I'm happy to do what I can do, and I was virtually incapacitated. I mean, I was walking around and working with physical therapists and doctors, and interesting things about homunculus. They were working with the brain and kind of reintroducing what this was as something that was okay and not something that was emergent. So I was very frustrated, and I picked up a piece of copper that, I should show you this piece of copper. Can you give me that framed piece there on the table, Hank?
This one here?
Yeah, I picked up a piece of copper that was lying around, and I took a leather working tool, I work in leathers too, and I carved it in with my left hand because I couldn't do anything else. And then I used patina. Sorry about the glare, it's under glass.
Yeah, it's my fault.
No, you're fine. And then I used patina on it, and at that point, my husband and I were sitting, I was doing it while we were talking to an insurance man at the kitchen table, and I said to him, "What do you think?" And he said, "Whoa, you just did that?" I said, "Yeah." And so his reaction I thought, well, maybe this is something I can do.
So you use a leather tool.
Use a leather tool, yes.
To just...
To carve that baby.
To carve... Man, that's incredible.
Well, I do what I need to do. I've always been innovative. Like, when I was in Spokane and I was a nurse, I ran an urgency care clinic with one doc. We had 7 rooms, a cast room, and we were like never hit the floor. We would create things. We would make things that for people's casts and for their care and for whatever it was they needed. We worked together to find answers for it. And it was a beautiful place to be. I mean, people wanted to work there. And creating things has always been my shtick, you know? Like to take something virtually from nothing and say, oh, well, we could use that, you know, and what do they call that now? Repurposing. I've done that all my life.
Engineering.
I've always feared engineering. You know, it's mathematical, and not that I could never do that because I'm intelligent, but you know, the whole idea that this is, but that in itself, there are other intelligences, you know, and then the whole emotional intelligence, sexual intelligence, you know, creative intelligence. And so by combining a lot of those things, you know, you can create things from nothing. And seeing something for what it is instead of what it's pretending to be, or what other people might say, oh, that's nothing there, we can't do anything with that. Well, you paint it white and suddenly it's a beauty, you know. And so this was what I did. I took my leather tool. I needed to do something. I was going absolutely insane. I had nothing. I couldn't even type on my typewriter.
And you did that with your left hand.
My left hand. I'm a right-handed person.
And okay, so after you carve this out into the copper, you put the patina on it. Do you want to explain your process for the patina? Well,
it varies, and it's evolving. It's an evolutionary thing. I'm using now the patina. I'm mixing it with acrylic, and then I'm using a surfactant, which is a soap and water solution. And it has to be at the right, as I found out, the right amount of soap with surfactant, with the water, to make it do what it's supposed to do, because the surfactant disperses molecules. So when I do my patina, we'll do that. We can show them. It's fun. That's the best part, almost. I put the water on it, then I drop the patina on it, and the nature and the surfactant and the patina itself creates the looks of whatever it is that is the aging and the weathering of time, which is what ultimately I'm working toward. Our society is one that's discarded the things of old, and we're becoming so technical and so cerebral that the old time things have now become very popular and interesting to people. And part of what I'm all about is stories. My things have stories to them, you know, and when I'm creating them, it's almost as though I feel what they are. I know what I've drawn them. I draw a picture, and then I etch it onto the pure copper surface, and then I do what's called repoussé, which is pushing out and pushing pushing from one side, which is repoussé, pushing from the other side, which is chasing. And much like there are two well-known repoussé pieces. One is the Statue of Liberty, and the other is Portlandia. So both of which required that person to push both directions. And so as you do that, the metals molecules change, and you can get it to move in a certain way, and depending on the tools you use. And I have a variety of different tools, but sometimes a story comes all on its own, you know, like this one. This one was just a simple picture of a person that I did kind of with their eyes cast down. And then by using the patina, it became a person possibly. And ultimately at the National Square Foot exhibit, it was best in show. And one of the qualities they gave to it, the woman that, the judge, one of the judges bought it, and she said it reminded her of when she was in the forest in her state in Ohio, when she sat in the forest and she was just kind of thinking about things, you know, and so it brought that to somebody, you know. I mean, what a wonderful thing that we can do that, you know, as artists. We can make somebody feel like music, you know. I mean, it's a quality that, I mean, it's magic, actually, don't you think? When you look, somebody looks at something and they say, that reminds me of this, or I love that because it reminds me of this, or my hopes or my dreams or whatever, and that's, you know, what is that all about? Where does that come from?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
I'm trying to learn myself. So, how has your copper work progressed?
It's progressed along the lines of my hand's ability to work with it.
So you've healed through a lot of this in the past year.
It is, along with my muse, who's my black gelding, Cruz is his name. He's a Tennessee Walker, who has taught me to be present, to be completely present and appreciative of the beauty in life. And what happened was I started out doing this. I started out doing these little birds when I couldn't do the copper, when I was waiting as I had ordered some copper to see if I could do it. And I had to wait for it. And my hand was still, I couldn't move it any more than this, and it felt like it was burning underneath. There was like oil underneath my skin. And there were no medicines. It was hard. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. And so I would do these little polymer clay birds. And as I did those, my hands got a little bit more flexible, more of a therapeutic thing, much like the polymers that they give you at the physical therapy. But it's more, you kind of get your mind, it's distracting because you're creating something that looks like something instead of just a bar of whatever intensity it is. So you get yourself outside, you bring yourself beyond what you believe where you can go. And that's exactly what I do every single time I'm doing it. I'm distracting myself from the pain. Sometimes when I'm in bed and I'm trying to sleep, I cannot sleep because of the pain. So I get up, and sometimes it's 3 days in a row that I'm unable to sleep. And I create, and creating distracts me. I play music, I watch television, I watch movies, I watch serial killers. I love that. It's all about good things. It's American icons, you know, rodeo, the rodeo and Mustangs and serial killers. So basically, it's been kind of a progression for me of how strong my hand is. So that my thinner things, there are thinner pieces of copper that I've worked in. But as my hand has been getting better, I work with thicker copper. And ultimately, I hope to work with, you know, copper that really challenges me.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Where are you showing right now?
A number of places. Right now, most recent, most current is Blick Gallery. Should I look in there? Blick Gallery? What do you? Blick Gallery. It's in the Pearl, and it's for from the 3rd to the 28th. It's Art in the Pearl. So it's every Thursday. Or not Art in the Pearl. That's next year. It's first Thursday in the Pearl. And then, I've got a lot of them. So, and then the most recent, this is really cool. When I was in New York in the 70s, there was a gallery. It's called Pleiades Gallery. And it was a co-op. And they had really, in Chelsea, which is a part of New York City, like it has become very trendy now, but it was kind of funky and kind of artistic back then. And they started this cooperative gallery where people would spend time showing and taking care of sales and hanging things and just being gallery kind of gophers and doing stuff. And they would do that periodically, and then it has grown, and I noticed that they had a 40th or 41st gallery, 41st year celebration, and they were opening up a position for an artist. And I contacted them, and Karen Bradshaw wrote me back, and she said, we want you, and we want your art, and but look at the prospectus and see exactly what it's going to entail. And what it did entail was my being there from Portland to New York 3 times a month. Wow. And and a biannual exhibit. So right now I'm just starting out, and I'm an evolving artist. I haven't been doing this all that long. Where did it go? Oh, thank you, sir. I said, well, could you keep my name, because things change and miracles happen, like my best in show. My God. Anyway, she said, oh, absolutely. We also have an invitational, which is periodically they ask some artists to come. Would you be interested in that? I said, well, let me think about it.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen sometime soon. That's to be announced. And then Blick Art, and then Riversea Gallery. Have you ever been there? Astoria? Have you been to Astoria?
I have been to Astoria.
What'd you think?
I haven't been there often, and I haven't gotten to explore much.
Very cool town.
I have to check it out.
Very cool town. This particular gallery, sometimes, and I'm not disparaging anyone who does art for their own reasons, but sometimes when you go into galleries, it's like, ooh, that's really disturbing, or ooh, and maybe that's what people want to elicit from someone. Something like that. I don't know. I got how much more life to live, and I just want to do it in a good kind of a happy way. Maybe that's like limited, but it's my choice. Her gallery, it's called Riversea Gallery in Astoria, Oregon. She has some of the most interesting, beautiful pieces of art I have seen. Creative. There was a birch bowl that was actually so organic. When you touched it, you could feel like levels of story and levels of beauty, and it was just incredible. You walked around, I found myself grinning. I mean, it's like so beautiful. Anyway, she's got some of my things. She's got some of my journals, and is interested in my stuff. So she's going to be. She has my things, and also Oceanic Arts has got a wall of my horses. They're in Newport, Oregon, and then Breach the Moon has my jewelry. And then upcoming events, along with the Blick Art Studio, is Chocolate and Artwork.
And that's going to be
on the 19th of September.
So coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And where?
Don't remind me, making me nervous. I'm not ready for this. Where?
Where?
It's at the Pacific Northwest College of Art.
Okay. On
Broadway in Portland. And it's going to have, it's kind of edgy, so no children. It's all over the country. It's this phenomena. It's this, that's happening where they're having multiple runways with bands and artists and dancers and performers and people hanging from the ceiling and body art and artists of all kinds.
You said that you're going to be participating in the body art?
No.
No.
Well, no. I was telling my husband I wanted to be either Statue of Liberty, Portlandia, or Nordic Queen. That was his idea, with the things. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be, I'll have some of my things there, some of my wall art. I have 5 pieces that have been entered. And then, the best part for all the gals out there is that they are going to have, and guys, I don't know, guys really like chocolate all that much as we do.
I do.
You do?
I think I might be able to compete with you in that department.
Ooh, really? Well, we'll see about that. We will just see. They have free fondue, chocolate fondue with all kinds of fruits, and it's going to be like, Anyway, that's the next one. And then the pièce de résistance is on the 24th and the 25th of October in Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Bend, Oregon, is all about the horses. And it's a kind of a cross between, I always say, a cross between Liberace and Roy Rogers meets the circus. It's kind of like a 3-wing thing where there's kind of like, there's going to be trick riders, long, beautiful blonde trick riders who have Mustangs, and they're going to be riding with like flaming flags and trick riding with their fingers holding onto the just unbelievable tricks. And then there's going to be a retired, I believe he's a retired public defender who is a rhinestone cowboy. That's what he calls himself. And he's got a trick pony, a pinto, and he's going to do knife throwing at a gal that's spinning on a piece of wood. And then also he does other kinds of tricks, and that was the one that kind of stuck in my mind. Oh, shooting. He does guns, shooting at different things. I don't know. And then also there's going to be a clown without the nose and without the hair, because I wouldn't go if it was. And he's going to tell stories and do tricks and things. And then there's also some people from Mongolia who are coming to do arrow shooting off of horses, kind of trick riding, arrow shooting. And also there's an artist, John Michael Montgomery, is a musician. And then there's going to be art and of course the people from Bend and all about horses. It's going to be fun. Oh, the best part, a Mustang challenge, where they're going to have people take a virtually wild Mustang and within six weeks compete for the quality of their training.
That's awesome.
And then they're going to auction them off.
Have you ever participated in a Mustang challenge?
No. In my heart, but not really. No. We actually somewhat did that. We have 4 Tennessee Walkers, and we were told by everyone that we could not have them on our property. It wasn't a place that was amenable to horses, nor could we train them because that's something that only trainers do, and nor could we get babies. And what we did was we investigated what we wanted, a gated breed that would be, I have back problems, and I wanted a gated breed, and they were so expensive, and we wanted a large breed with large people. Also, we wanted them to be gentle, and we wanted them to be willing. And the best breed, the absolute most diverse ability in any breed, was the Tennessee Walker. And they're great trail horses. They've got hard hooves. They don't need to be, they can have, they can be without shoes, which is like you without shoes on a soft surface. Anyway, we got babies and we trained them, and we keep them on our property, and everyone that's ever cared for them has said how easy and how wonderful our setup is. It's better than the people in the know. And when you meet our horses, you'll see they are like puppies. We trained them with natural horsemanship. They're our partners. They're a little bit, kind of in your face because we haven't been working with them as much as we did. They're 10 years old, and they're puppies. They're babies. They're like, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Oh, can I eat that? Can I play with that? My black gelding, he took a T-shirt I had down there and he spun it one way, and then when he did that, he got, okay, I'm going to do the other way, and then he did the other way. And they're willing, they're intelligent, and so the point being, no, not Mustang, but horses, yes.
Awesome.
Horses are the reason why I do this, because when I sell a piece, I use my money to buy more supplies to make more pieces, and then whatever's left over, I buy for them, I spend for them. We have to feed them year-round, and we're the stewards of these animals. They are the magical teachers and healers that they are for us. And so we treat them well. They were started well. They were given the best food for the best bones and skin and eyes and teeth, and they get the best farrier work and the best food and the best care. And so it's our responsibility. They are part of our lives. And we experienced it just recently, actually, a time when we thought we were going to lose our whole place. And it came down to, well, what do we need to do? What's valuable? You write the list. This is what I want. This is what I have. And what is it that I can live with? And it was, each other and the horses. And so wherever we went, it would be that. Everything else would fall away. My art, too. I mean, it was that, too. But everything else would fall away. We would leave in our little, Ford F-150 with the trailer behind that we would buy after we sold the house, and we would go to Idaho and you know, live with family for a while till things settle down. But sometimes you have to decide what's valuable, what's important in life, and that's the wonderful thing about being my age, because you figured it out, you know, you've experienced it, and part of my stories have, all of my stories have history. There's some depth to them, you know. I mean, there's some real horses that have lived, the real people that have been a part of what it is that I do, and also that fear that you sometimes have as an artist and a human being when you're starting to do something different, and your left brain says, you can't, you know, you know, what are you thinking? All those words come out. Your right brain is like, shh, you know, let me try it. And so I've learned to turn off the fear and just delve into the right brain. Interestingly enough, that happened after a stellate ganglion block, which is one of the treatments for this particular condition, along with dealing with the homunculus, which is this virtual body-like image that our brains have within them. Many of them, there's many of them, many different ones, but one in particular is the limbs, and with CRPS and with amputees, they work with the homunculus using mirrors, and those mirrors are put between a, like this, like say, that's a mirror, this is the bad hand behind the mirror, and this is the good hand. And the good hand is moving, and the good hand is feeling okay, and the mind watches this. The visuals of the brain are retrained to believing that the capability is there and the pain is not. And you keep doing that over and over again with this hand hidden, and it helps to open the possibilities of doing it. And they found tremendous healing and therapeutic properties to that treatment, which I used. And then I used the distraction here in the home. You know, sometimes I can't sleep for 3 days in a row because of the pain. And most people don't cure from this. The people that they knew of that did cure from this particular disease were a checker at a grocery store and a man that had a family. So he had to go back to work, and so did she. So I said to myself, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I don't have, you know, we have 24 hours. What are you going to do with it? What do they say? When is now going to be the right time? Right? And so you do it. I mean, and what happened was this stellate ganglion block, it's put into the stellate ganglia of the spinal cord, which is located like in the primitive brain. So they go through your neck. They open up the spine, the actual bones of your spinal column, and they go through and go into your somatic nerves. And they put chemicals in there that decrease the sensory perception of the pain. And the first time it didn't really work all that well, but the second time, oh my God, it was like a rebirth. I started to write again, sculpt again, paint, and of course do my copper. And I was very cerebral, and I was creating things, and the possibilities just seemed endless. They told me that there was a crest of the wave that I was going to kind of come down on, but I doubt very much that that's happened yet, actually. I think knowing that it's there, that the possibility of the freedom of accepting that fear for what it is, and moving on and saying, yeah, what? Let me just try it. You know, and that happens at 3 o'clock in the morning, Jacob. It happens when there's no sound other than what I'm doing here. There's no world other than where we are right here, which is this like a idyllic kind of place that doesn't have any kind of association with anything in the world. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm JoAnn. I mean, I'm creating, like, it's coming from inside of me that isn't even anything that I've known of, you know? I mean, these like a cat, there's this cat that's down at Blick Art Studio, for the first Thursdays in the Pearl. His name's Simon the Magnificent. And he is a cat that's got human eyes that are piercing you when you look at him. He is truly another being. It's not just a cat. And I guess I did it, but I didn't do it. You know, the copper, my tools, my ability to just kind of just flow with the metal, and then suddenly, boom, here he is. That's him. That's it. You know, I mean, like suddenly I'm like, oh yeah, you're it. Like this one. This one was like nothing. He was just a profile, and then the patina took over. I mean, there's so many steps to this that are like build on each other. Like when you start out.
And there's so many variables to each of the steps too, so getting the exact same product is never going to happen.
Exactly. So they're all one of a kind. I try. I do. This one, I wanted it for, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I seriously too. And I try. I mean, it's like, oh, I did it so easily before. And then it's different. I did a lady that was like, her name was Anna. And she was Asian. And she had this story. She had the story of this pain, and she had the story of this overcoming of that pain. This power about her, this peace. She'd come to terms with something very difficult in her life. And it was obvious. You could see it in the piece. And then by adding the patina and all of that, it even created a deeper story. It sold at the Art in the Rose Garden recently, and it was the first thing. It was my favorite, you know. And it wasn't something. I mean, I tried again, and she came out like, I don't know, like Colonel Sanders. You know, it was like it wasn't the same. There wasn't that quality, and it's like people are talking to me, or something is happening so that it's making it different, and I don't know what it is. And it's not demonic, but in a way, it's almost spiritual because it's connecting to a spirit. You know, we always talk about, oh, let's meditate, and you need to get back to, you know, the simpler things in life. Well, we spend our lives being what people think we are and trying to fit into that and doing things that we think are going to make people accept us into that peer group or whatever peer group we believe we need to be in. And when we really are quiet, there is this spirit that we are eternally. I'm going to cry now. It's okay. You know, we are eternally. There's this being that will never change, that is always okay and always a part of everything that we do. And so that is where it is. That's where it's coming from. It's from her, you know? It's that little girl that never was. You know, the pain that I experienced as a child, coming out and suddenly being able to say, oh, here I am, and this is who I could be. This is who I'm meant to be. This is not who my mother wants me to be, or my father wants me to be, or my boss wants me to be. This is who I'm meant to be, you know? And so that's where it's coming from. And it doesn't always happen. And I go through sometimes 15 pieces before I'm really happy with it. My husband's like, no, it's good. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not good. And then when it is, and there's no question about it. You know, and you have to be true to yourself. And I'm lucky because I can be outside of the world because my wonderful husband is supporting me in this until I can support him in the manner that he's gotten used to. And so it's rough sometimes financially, but I had never been happier with what it is I'm doing. My horses are, I have to say this. Can I say this? Mm-hmm. The thing that truly says, and it's on my bio and on my Etsy.com, we're like not flowing the way, but anyway, it's a thing from Linda Kahanov. It's a book that if people want to get back to, I mean, it's a therapeutic realm of the horse, which is like ancestral. It's ethereal, and it's also historical. Epona is a Celtic goddess, and or god of a horse. Anyway, but she has opened this therapeutic place where she has horses that help people, and it's an equine therapy, and they deal with people with psychological problems, PTSD, anxiety, corporate retreats, and things that are like wounded warriors and paralyzed people, and children that have birth defects or are paralyzed in some way. And she writes in her book, which is beautiful. It's called the Tao of Equus. Linda Kahana. I can't recommend it enough. It truly says everything. It says the mysteries of life, the most potent gifts of existence, quite often arrive on the backs of black horses. And my black horse is my gelding. And he's taught me, to be present, to see what's important, and to truly say, what do I want to do in this next moment? And so that's where it comes from, truly. I cried. You're asking me things about mean something to me. It's okay. I'm moving that out of the glass. I've moved it from behind the glass. It's free now. It's going to be freedom.
So how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you, or maybe get a commission from you?
Oh, heck yeah. I love that. Come up and see the horses, too. It's 503-366-5773 is my phone number.
Okay.
Dark Horse Jewels, lowercase, on Etsy.com is my store, which shows you exactly what I've got for sale, which is not what I've made recently. I've got 30 pieces that I've made that I haven't taken pictures of, or that I've made and hadn't had a time to take a picture because it's sold so quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm so lucky. I mean, I'm on a crest of a wave here. Mm-hmm. People have never seen this stuff. It's reminiscent of Tiffany and Cartier. I'm not saying that I'm doing that, but they did the reposes of beautiful silver wear that they had for the rich and famous during the turn of the century. And now, Portlandia and then Statue of Liberty, but also, those little brass circle plates that used to be above the stove in your grandmother's house. Those they were brass, but they were repose. And this is different because it's more organic, I guess. It does a lot more with nature, and it's exposed more. I'm not putting a coloring on it, and you can see with that particular horse there, it's kind of gotten a golden color. The copper has become much like the copper pots that you see in people's houses that they shine up. Mm-hmm. These kind of turn too, so it takes on the patina on the places that I have removed the patina that I put on for art.
So, what are your goals for the future? Where would you like to see yourself go?
I want to make as much money as I possibly can. To be able to. The reason being, I want to be able to move around. I want to be able to show stuff. I want to be able to touch more people. There is a thing called the 100th monkey theory, which doesn't, as I found out now, truly exist, but it is an urban legend where there were people supposedly studying the monkeys in Malaysia, and there were other people on other islands that were distant and not communicative with those who were also studying the monkeys. And the monkeys on this one island of Malaysia suddenly one day started to wash the coconuts before they ate them, or the avocados or whatever they were eating. And then a second monkey would do it, and then a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and then soon colonies were doing it. And then suddenly, when about the number 100 of the monkeys started to do it, it was almost like a universal intelligence kind of a flashpoint, where the monkeys at the distant study area suddenly started to wash their coconuts. Well, I think that just like when people hurt people, we sense it. When people do good things, we sense it. There's a universal intelligence, and there's a levels of energy in the world and our life that mean something. And the more good that we can do, and the more that we can tell people about the things that can enable them to become more of who they are, the better the world's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm looking to do. I don't even remember what I just said. Oh, God. So, yeah, I mean, that would be ultimate. I would also love to have an equine therapy program where I could truly, one of the things, Jacob, that I love to see, I mean, it's visceral when you see it. A child will come, or a wounded warrior will come, or a person that's been paralyzed, and this society denies them and shames them and fears them because they're aberrant, they're different, they're not perfect, they're not the blonde-haired football player, I guess, and they come up and they get on a 1,100-pound being who suddenly listens to them, and they are mobile, they are moving on their own volition, and their spirit comes forth, and you can see it in their eyes. They're suddenly happy, and I mean, oh my God, can we do that? Can we do that? We can do that, I mean, that's, to me, if I can do that for somebody, if I can make them feel that way, if it's my art or my horses, or this blog maybe even, make them realize that their spirit is true. Everything else falls away. And sometimes it takes things like a dark horse or a CRPS or an injury that reduces you to the point of, infancy, that takes you to the real point inside of yourself that says, no, I'm not doing that. And yes, that's what I'm all about. You know what I'm saying? All of it else, everything else is just, what do they call it? Something in mirrors?
Window dressing.
Yeah, it's window dressing.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, my friend. Smoke and mirrors. And had I known this when I was a young girl, I mean, there's so many things you can do, and I dreams are what we're all about, and this society, especially with art, it doesn't support it the way it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people who are true artists that can change the world, and really, I'm not saying myself, but I mean people that have nowhere to go and they're struggling, and it'd be nice if there was like a foundation, and I'm sure there are, and we're going to work toward getting grants and things like that, potentially, because of the horses and because of the contribution to, well, American icons, rodeo, and I'm not all about the horses though. I'm all about what the horses can do for people. There was a time when horses were believed to be just machines, like we treat most things in our lives, like maybe a husband as a provider instead of as a being, or a dog as a representation of a quality of your money, or your house as a quality of your money situation. When truly it's all about, what it is that you are. How are you going to go into the world? That's all we really have, right? That's what we have. So, I talk.
It's okay.
Okay.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about is the gallery that I put on. It's called 4th Effin' Friday. We just had one this last Friday. The next one will be October 30th, we've decided on for sure. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a costume party, so...
You're kidding me.
No.
I can come like Portlandia.
You could.
I'd have to crawl in, though, isn't she? She's kind of crawling, isn't she?
You.
Well, there you go. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But costume party, gallery at my place, October 30th.
Is it like a potluck? No, because then you're going to bring like all kinds of weird stuff.
I make the food.
Oh.
So there's free booze. I provide alcohol for everybody, free alcohol. Tons of artists. There's usually live music. We paint on the walls.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's just a really great time.
Paint on the walls?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we just installed a stripper pole in my living room.
I have friends already that have those. So blasé.
And we do a raffle. So all of the artists that I interview, I ask if there's something small that they wouldn't mind donating towards this raffle.
Absolutely.
And then if any of the guests come in, they donate $5 or more towards the Art Life video blog and 4th F and Friday. They get a raffle ticket, and we give away a ton of art at the end of the night. And people get super excited, get to go home with something, remember not only the evening, but like the artists that they meet. And
wow.
A lot of fun.
Jacob Wolf in my house. Wow. That is incredible.
So it'd be really an honor to have you there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going. Right, honey?
We're going.
We're
This
going.
year.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, that sounds like
Awesome.
so much fun.
I don't really have anything else to say. Do you have any last comments,
No, but
questions, or
do you want to
concerns?
show them something about like how the patina? Well, I'll show you.
Yeah,
how the patina
that's probably
works.
going to be best.
Yeah.
I'll video record that, and we'll do
Okay.
that like it's like a second part
Okay,
in case
okay.
people want to
That's
see.
so much fun. So cool. Nature is a part of that. I mean, I step back and watch that thing. It's just like anything, like nothing you've ever seen. Like nothing you've ever seen. It's fun. Anyway,
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
thank you.
Art Life video blog day 142. JoAnn,
Yes.
Jacob, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.